Our next presenter is an architect, really, and a partner at TAK Architekten. He's going to present, the name is Old Equals the Future. That is the strong position that existing and specifically old buildings hold for the future development compared to the new constructions. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome another Flying Dutchman, Mr. Hans Heine. Did I pronounce your surname right?
Almost.
What is it?
Heine.
Heine. It is right.
Good enough.
It is right. What's your problem?
Okay, welcome everybody. We are doing a makeover night. Our motto is old is the future. They seem similar, they should be similar. The problem is they are not always. And this is worldwide. It's not something for Turkey especially or Istanbul. It's something that you will find everywhere. If you decide to do makeover, specifically on a building in this case, because that is the business we do, then it is very important that you reach the core of the building and the strong position and the strong points of the building, so you can use these in your makeover. If you don't, then in the present situation, let's say, it is very it is fashionable to do these makeovers and to give them a new function. You see here the consulate in Istanbul with a reference on the right hand side, combination of old and new, with a reference to the old wooden houses in Istanbul. You will see some pictures of how this is done, starting from the old and then some new pictures of what it resulted in. If you don't catch the core of the building, your total makeover will become ridiculous and meaningless, or in bold Dutch it will become a total bullshit. Combinations of old and new again, like what kind of a facade do you place in front of a palace, which is basically already the third palace at that position on a 400-year-old basement. So the palace that you see now is 200 years old, so already old is the future is nothing new. We didn't invent anything, it is something that has been going on through history. Also integration of installations into landscape, these are exhausts of a generator unit. So you have to give all these elements a place in what you are doing and not treat them as individual items that you can add up. If you add them up, 1 and 1 will stay 1. If you can add them up correctly, 1 and 1 will become 3. Of course, the reusing of colors, doing investigation of what you had, what was there, how you can reuse an old kitchen for what was once the palace. This is what I'm using. This is the Central Railroad Station in Amsterdam. I'm using this to tell you something about the flexibility of old buildings. This building was originally conceived for 3,000 visitors per day. Now we are making it ready for the future, which means 300,000 visitors per day. And you will see the old situation, after this the present situation, and the situation to be. And actually in the situation to be, we are moving back towards the old situation, because we are taking out all the additions that were given to the railroad station that you see in between the arches and everywhere. So in fact, by moving back to the more original position of everything, you are at the same time creating room to give this building more flexibility. I was clever enough to take some water. The new situation to be in the future, actually moving back a little bit towards the old building to give this building its core back, which was hidden in the present situation. Of course, this project will last until 2018. It is not something quickly done. This is a building in Ankara, the original situation. So the makeovers can also go for buildings from this century. This building was constructed in 2002 and the makeover was done already in 2004. Shows how quickly a building can get old. In fact, it was never used. It was turned into an embassy, and by cutting out all the facades, cutting out about 25% of the concrete structure, and not putting the building anymore on a slab at ground level, but putting it in a hole. You kind of give it a place, you give it a position on its location. And by doing that, because the building was originally an office building with large storage spaces in the basement, we cut it all open to make offices in the basements and give the whole building its meaning. So these are floor plans from what was originally basement floors, and now all cut open with lighting coming in from the top and from the sides. And the funny thing is, people were very worried at the beginning that they would never have enough light because it was a basement. And in fact, at the end, at the delivery, these were the best lighted spaces in the building. 20 seconds is too long, actually. Picture of the side of the building where you see it's cut open. And now they are thinking about selling the building because it's not safe enough. After 9/11, everything was rethought. And now they are considering selling it and do something new. The graphics of the building with terraces, and you see the lighting towards the basement offices. There were 3 new items in this building. Here you see up in Levent, which was originally a big parking space, all black, and the question was, how do we make a leisure center? So together with Arzunoğlu landscape architects, we decided that this should be a totally landscaped site, because there is 2 towers at the across from it. So all the buildings are underneath a waving landscape, including a big parking garage, because of course the parking lot itself should still remain in function. And then underneath it is connected to the towers, so the leisure center functions. Thank you.
No, please hold it.
Okay.
There may be a question.
Yeah.
I hope so. Any questions?
It was so clear, it must have been.
Yeah, there might be no questions. Yes, ma'am. Yes, you were going to ask a question. Yes.
Is the İşbank project under construction or just a project?
It was a project, but it was never executed. It never came beyond this stage. Yeah, too bad. But
Yeah, that's a pity.
And also, this is a bank. You must invest.
Of course.
yeah, but there came a crisis, at least in Europe. It
I
was
see.
right after the banking crisis.
I see. You have a crisis in Europe. Oopsie daisy. We don't have any crisis, no.
This was right after your crisis.
Really?
Yeah, you forgot about it, or you're too young.
It wasn't a crisis. It was just a problem. We solved it. Yes. By killing 10 million people. Yes. Any more questions?
Can I?
Really?
No.
Really? Yes. The question from...
He's so critical about everything.
Yeah. He's the Don. Yes.
Actually, your presentation was very interesting concerning the train station. You said it was originally built to handle 3,000 people a day. Then eventually there was building on and on to handle 300,000. What I'm trying to understand now, you are trying to go back to the roots, to the origin, but it will handle more people than the first 3,000. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how do you handle. Originally, it was prepared to handle 3,000, and you're going back to the original. How is the building going to handle 300,000 people?
The pictures shown are from the central hall, which is kind of not really reconstructed, but we are moving back by taking out all the infills. Of course, the railroad station beyond the main building, we made all these traverses underneath the railroad tracks. Not by us, it is a combination of a lot of architects, but we are doing the original building. But at the same time, through the building, through this main building, there will pass 300,000 visitors a day. And part of this by reconstructing some of the original elements, and part of this by adding new elements. But you are moving back towards the core, the strong points of the building. And that is very important, because really what I said I meant is if you don't, you make a bullshit.
You finished the answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I see.
We can go on.
You know, the expression voice, you know, it goes flat and just, I couldn't understand it was over. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Heine. Heine is correct?
Heine.
Heine, Mr. Heine. Thanks to Mr. Heine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the lovely presentation. Moving on. Our next presenter